Hi, folks. Today is day 12 of my trip, and I've gone 1,554 miles as it sits over there in front of the door to my hotel room. I was really off grid last night. There I was 60 miles or so east of Little Rock, I guess it was. And today it was supposed to storm. And I pull up my weather app and I'm looking at the radar, and the storm covered 2/3 of Arkansas and a good part of Missouri, and it was a mess. And my little blue dot, which is where I'm at, was down at the very bottom of the storm. And I stayed ahead of it all day. And I can feel the temperature's dropping. I'm doing laundry right now, sitting out waiting to do my laundry. The temperature's dropping, and so wind's picking up. It may have finally caught up with me. But I didn't get wet, which is kind of cool, because this thing had huge, massive areas of red in it. I'm sure some of you have experienced it today. I'm confident of that because I know some of you are in the Arkansas, Missouri area. I had a fairly uneventful day once I got left. I left very early. I left really before the sun came up because I wanted to get ahead of that storm if I possibly could. And I rode quite a few miles. I was planning to go to a campsite not too far from here. I'm in Magnolia, I think is the name of the town. Magnolia, Arkansas. And I hit it pretty hard. And this campground that I was going to stay at, I made a little mistake. It was a park, but didn't have a campground. I don't know why I said I must have been looking at another one and I hit the wrong button or something. So there wasn't any place to stay there. And so I started looking for motels, and this one was about 10 miles down the road or so it was easy to get to. I did have something kind of cool happen today, but I'll get to that in just a minute, because I had a story from yesterday that I didn't tell you. I was going to tell you the story, I forgot about it. I gotta go take care of it. Okay, I'm back. I heard somebody talking about the laundry room, and it's got an electric lock on it, and my key's supposed to work, but it doesn't. And so I've got it propped open. I want to make sure that nobody locks me out of my laundry, because then I would be in bad shape. Yesterday, before I went to the campground, I stopped at a grocery store, and I got a few things, a salad, some water, and just for basic stuff. I don't carry very much food. I could go a couple of days with what I've got, but it's dried stuff. And where I was at last night, there wasn't any water, so I only had what I could carry. So I stopped at this grocery store, and I'm standing in line at the checkout. And here comes this tall guy. He's about my age, I would guess. And he asked if that was my scooter out there. And I said, yes. And he said I forget his exact words, but it's something to the effect that he saw the light shining on it. And I'm not quite sure what to think of that. He was nice, he was a friendly guy. And I said, well, yeah, I'm feeling very blessed. This journey has been Chautauqua. And Chautauqua in a spiritual way. And I thought he was talking about that. And then I saw the logo on his hat. He had an Eastern Star logo. And so I knew what he was talking about there. Whatever. And he introduced himself then, and he's I think his card. He gave me his card. I gave him mine. I think he said his card said from Chicago, and he's in addition to the Eastern Star hat, he was 33 Scottish Rite, and he we enjoyed a little time of fellowship, and it was pretty cool. There was, and then he went back and did his shopping. There was a little girl there. She was behind me, and we referred to each other as brother. She came up and started talking to me. You're his brother? That, you see, I'm pretty white. This guy pretty black. I mean, just, he was as dark as I am light. And we're brothers. She didn't understand that at all. And so I said we're both Freemasons. And that means we're brothers. It doesn't matter. I enjoyed that. But then today, I stopped for gas. And this guy, he looks at me and then he comes out of the gas station and looks at my scooter and then looks at me and, that yours? I said, yeah. He said, I saw the light shining on it. Apparently that's what you say around here. I don't know. But first he asked me if I was a traveling man, and I said yes, and I knew exactly what he was talking about. And then he mentioned the light. And he was, I forget the term, Prince Hall. And I that's the first time I've been approached by a Prince Hall person. I've approached a few myself. I don't. The only thing I wear are small things like the little double-headed eagle, and I've got a few other little things. But anyway, that kind of made the day cool because there are people here. And this guy from yesterday, he texted me just checking in. He wanted to make sure I was all right last night. Whenever I was settled into my campground, he sent me a text. He said, if you need anything, let me know. Can't beat that.